I just went live on the webinar. Join me. Come on in, pop in. We're excited to get started. All right, give it a few minutes for people to pop in. If you're here, let me know you're here. Shoot something in the chat. Where are you from? You in Naples? Giving it just a couple minutes for everyone to pop in. Hey, Chrissy. If you're popping in, put a little message in the chat. Let me know you're here. And we will get started. Good morning, Maggie. I'm excited to do this with you guys today. I guarantee you're going to leave here with some tactical information. Carmen, hey. All right. So I'm going to get started. I'll start by talking a little bit about who the heck am I and why am I doing something like this. So I'm Claire Gogan. I have the Gogan real estate team here in Naples, and we have about a 30 agent amazing team. And just a really quick about kind of my story and what got me here. So I've been doing this about 13 years. I started as a solo agent. Actually, I started as an assistant to a team. So I worked for them for 2 years, really learned everything there was to know, which was amazing. After that, got into real estate and very quickly did very well and became a top producer at my company. I was with a well-known company here in Naples. But I quickly found myself working 40 to 60 hours a week, just running around. I had no real systems in place. I had a whiteboard that I would work off. I would kind of put the people that I knew I was kind of working with at the moment, and then people that were about 6 months out. And that was my system of doing things. And I was just running from deal to deal to deal. And at some point, I started having kids. I had, for those of you guys that know me, I have twins. And then I have another one that's 19 months behind him. So I had 3 kids under 2 at one point, still trying to kind of keep up with this real estate business. And I got burnt out. I got completely burnt out, and I got to the point where I was ready to leave real estate. The money was great, but at the end of the day, if it didn't provide me the life that I wanted, some time, right? We all get into this because we want flexibility, we want time. I didn't want to do it anymore. And so right then COVID hit, and I kind of took a step back and took it as an opportunity to figure out how I was going to do this differently, because I realized I had been working in my business for so long that I had not worked on my business at all. I didn't really have anything solid to scale. And I had also hit my ceiling. I was at a company where we would do an awards, and I would see the 20, 30, $40 million producers, and I wanted to be that. And I was stuck at about 10. And I didn't have any more time to do more. So I didn't know how that would happen. So 2020, I hired a coach, started building a team selfishly to get myself more time, right? The main reason a lot of people build teams. And through my journey, I've realized that I'm not the only one that has this problem in real estate. And so now my mission has really become, how do I help realtors have a business and not just be an employee of their business, right? How do you have this beautiful career and help all these people and do the things you love, but scale it, have leverage, have it be a career where you're not just on a hamster wheel from deal to deal. And so, of course, we have the team and we do all these things. But this webinar is really, there's nothing that we teach that you can't do on your own. And so that's why I wanted to put this on and share this with you guys. And this will be recorded and I'll send it out and everything as well. But please ask questions. Feel free to use the chat along the way. I'm happy to answer those. And yeah, I'm going to kick it off. Let me grab my slides here. All right, let's go. Okay, so our 5-step blueprint to making a 6-figure life. So anyone can make 100,000 or put whatever number you want there, right? So I use 6 figures because I know we're in Naples. 100,000 doesn't go as far as it used to anymore. And some of you have goals of 2, 3, 4, 500,000 or more. So 6 figures, anyone can do it, but the reality is not everybody will, right? I'm going to go through this today. You're going to see that you have every ability to do it. The question is, will you be consistent? Will you do the boring, consistent work that is required to make this kind of money? And I am surrounded by people, team leaders, and top agents. I know personally people who make 400 or 500 or more thousand a year as a real estate agent. And I know exactly what they do every day. And I'm going to share that with you today. So again, the difference between an average agent and a 6-figure life agent is really doing the work. Are you willing to do the actual things that it takes to do this, taking action, right? I'm going to go through a lot of things. And if you do nothing else today, if you do nothing else, if you don't take anything else, I hope that you take action on at least one thing that I talk about today. One thing in your process. You don't have to go and implement everything tomorrow, but take action on something. So many of us get stuck in the thinking, in the preparing. We want to make it perfect and we never do anything. And that's the biggest problem. So take action from what you learned today. All right. As an agent, every day that you wake up without an appointment, you're technically unemployed. Our job at its core is to get appointments, get in front of new buyers and sellers every single day. Before we can jump into those 5 steps, we have to talk about why are so many agents not successful? Why is the new agent failure rate over 75% in their first year? Why is the failure rate in 3 years over 80%? That's insane. For the amount of agents that start, that's the failure rate. So why is that? Well, they don't have leads. They get into it and there's no business coming to them. They don't know how to lead generate. You don't have any leads to work. You don't have coaching or accountability to keep you on track and keep you doing the things that will work. The training and lack of skills. We bring agents on every day on our team. I know exactly what everybody needs to learn. It is a lot of information. It takes agents on our team with everything that we're providing them 6 months probably to feel confident, like they know what they're doing. In the other world, at a simple brokerage where you're not really getting as much hands-on, you're looking at a couple years to feel confident and get those skills that you need. So they're not doing any consistent marketing or lead gen, no systems or tools. Remember me way back when with my whiteboard? That was how I managed my database. So clearly I was missing a lot of sales doing it that way. Just waiting for business to come to them. You're busy and not productive. That's such a big one. I talk to people all the time that are so busy, I don't have time, I can call you. They feel busy and it makes them feel important. But at the end of the day, you're not doing anything productive. You're not doing anything to build your business or to bring you money. And then here's the almost, one of the biggest ones. You don't treat it like a full-time job. Realtors get into this and kind of like half their day is spent out shopping or at the grocery store in the middle of the day. You have to treat this like a full-time job. Or, a common one, family asks you to do something because you don't have a clock in, clock out job. And, oh, sure, I can do that because I'm available, right? You have to treat this like a full-time job. Are you actually putting in 40 hours a week? And then last and probably the most important is mindset. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute more, so I won't talk too much just this second. Okay. The market has changed also. So many people got into this industry in 2020, 21. The market was insane. We've never experienced anything like it. We likely never will again. Inflation, high interest rates that make it difficult for a first-time home buyer to buy a home, right? A first-time home buyer to purchase a $400,000 to $500,000 home, their payment is over $4,000 a month a lot of the times with taxes and insurance, right? That's a different world than what we had before. Recession, and then it takes 2 to 3 times at least the activities that it did 2 years ago. Now, I will tell you, I've been doing this a long time. 2017, 2018 was not that different. We had better interest rates, right? They were in the fives, probably high fours, low fives, but otherwise inventory levels were similar. So this also is not a extremely difficult market. This isn't 2008, but it is more difficult than what we've experienced in the last couple of years. So what are the 5 steps? So number 1, master your mindset and goals. And I'm going to go through a couple things here and share some insights from our team on this to share with you exactly how important that is. Number 2, build a time block schedule and follow it religiously. I'm going to show you our calendar so you can see exactly what you should be aiming towards. Number 3, business generating at least 3 different ways. I'll show you a list. I'll share with you what our team does. Number 4, work in a CRM and follow up relentlessly. We're going to go through some examples there. And then number 5, be consistent and track. So many of you are not tracking and measuring what you're doing, and that's a recipe for failure. Mindset. So the number one thing that holds salespeople back is mindset. And I can tell you this firsthand. Again, we have about a 30 agent team now. We bring on agents that are new to our team regularly, and I watch them struggle with this. Things like, I'm not good enough, right? They don't want to work with me, right? When somebody doesn't call you back right away, or they don't text back. They don't want to work with me. They must have found somebody else that might be better than me. I messed up and they think I'm stupid, right? They won't answer the call anyway, so why should I call them, right? That person who came through your open house. Well, I'm not going to call them. I don't want to bother them, right? All these little self-doubt things that go through our mind are one of the biggest obstacles. And this was a panel, the photo here is a panel that we did. We did a 6-week accountability group on our team. And the change that happened over those 6 weeks was incredible. But the number one thing that changed was mindset. I had agents that on the surface were saying that they're okay doing this and calling these people and working these leads. But inside, they were telling themselves all these things. And so when we were able to break through and they were able to help each other get through those, that's when they started seeing the success. Because they could do steps 2 through 5, right? They didn't have an issue with that, but the mindset was getting in their way. And I see it all the time. So it sounds cliche, but mindset is everything. So what affects your mindset? Your environment is number 1. The 5 people you surround yourself with are who you become, right? You are the 5 people you surround yourself with. If you are in an environment where either people are not doing what you want to be doing or better, or worse, you're in an environment where they're discouraging or they're negative, that's going to affect you significantly. There's studies that show that just being in the room with people that are a higher level than you will increase your activity, will increase your success by 20%. That's incredible, right? You absorb what's around you. So coaching, even my top producers have difficult days, right? Even I have difficult days, right? I have a real estate coach. If I didn't, I would not be able to take on everything that I take on. I'm a mom to 3 kids. I run a 30 agent real estate team. I still do some production, right? I have that coach to be there to support me when I'm in those moments where I'm struggling with my mindset mainly, right? Same with my top agents. They know what they need to do, but they meet with me every week to make sure that we stay on track with that mindset a lot of the times. Yeah, we talk about skills and tools and all of that, but I'm telling you, the number one thing, biggest difference is keeping that mindset positive and in that best state. So a couple books I wanted to share with you guys from our accountability group that really helped change were these 3 books. 2 of them are Mel Robbins. One is the 5-second rule. She basically talks about just do it. It's kind of a just do it method, but she gets behind the science of what we do and how we get in our own way. And so it's a really good book. It's also a very quick read. I would highly recommend doing the Audible version because she reads it to you and her voice and the way she speaks is amazing. Number 2, Let Them, another Mel Robbins book, also very, very good. And then Go for the No is more of a sales book. It talks about, going for the no instead of always seeking the yes, and how many no's does it take to get to the yes. So again, these are all going to help your mindset so that you can implement and take action on the following steps I'm going to share with you. The last thing I want to cover, and just because it's so important, is the victim versus the victor mindset. And again, I'm spending a little time here because it is the number one thing that gets in people's way. I am telling you, I don't care how strong you are, it is the number one thing. So are you being a victim or a victor? Are you always asking, why did that happen to me? Or how come I didn't get that opportunity? Or how come they got this and I didn't get this? Or, why did that customer choose that realtor instead of choosing me? Are you always finding the reason that you're at the disadvantage instead of always looking for the opportunity? The people who thrive on my team are the ones who always say yes. They ask questions. They look for opportunity. They don't focus on the things that they did not get. They focus on the things they did get, and they maximize those opportunities. So say yes instead of thinking what's in it for me. And they remain highly coachable. They're open to feedback, and everybody kind of says they're coachable and open to feedback. But when you receive feedback, are you constantly sharing why you think you did it right, or becoming a bit defensive and telling somebody all the reasons why you did something, or are you just accepting the feedback? When I was 16, I come from the equestrian world, and I was studying on these farm ranches, and we used to teach. It was like a school. And we used to teach people that came from all over the world for weeks. And I remember I was one of those people, right? Yeah, I want to learn. I'm coachable. But I always had something to say back. I always had a reason for defending what I did. And I remember my mentor at the time kept kind of trying to get this through to me. And one day I did something, I let, people leave or whatever. I thought it was the right call. He thought it was the wrong call. He gave me feedback. He told me why. And in that moment, I don't know why, but for some reason, finally that day, I said, thank you for the feedback. And he looked at me and went kind of like, finally, she has arrived. So when you receive feedback, I always encourage our team, just thank you for the feedback. It might not make sense to you in the moment, but later it will probably come back around. So be a victor, don't be a victim. Super, super important. Again, the only person that can change your situation is you. People are winning every single day. Even in 2008, there were people who took more listings and made more sales in 2008 and 2009 than they did their entire career. So you just have to do the things that are working in that market. You can succeed in any market. I don't care what the market is doing. It is not an excuse for you not making sales. I hear agents all the time, well, I didn't make the sales I wanted to last year, but the market was not good, right? Nobody else did either. Well, I'm sorry, but our team grew. Our team grows. It grows every single year. It's a non-negotiable for me. I don't care what it takes. We will grow, right? The market does not determine your success. All right, number 2, build a time-blocked schedule and follow it religiously. Money-making schedule. Go listen to the top podcasts from all the top agents all over the place. So you're going to hear the same thing over and over and over. It's because it works. Prospecting, lead generation, and follow-up is 8 to 11, right? Pick a couple. You don't have to do it for that entire time, but I would recommend at least 2 hours. Lead nurture and appointment setting, 11 to 12. And then your appointments are in the afternoon. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, but Claire, they needed to see property at 10 o'clock, or they asked me if they could do it in the morning, or we scheduled the closing for 10 o'clock and there's no way I could do my prospecting in the morning. Well, at some point you have to protect your time. So I always teach letting your customers know, set proper expectations. Hey, Sally, in order to service you at the highest level, part of my daily routine is from 8 to 10. I'm in my office following up with everybody, making sure all of the transactions are on track and making sure nothing slips through the cracks. So if you ever need me during that time, don't worry. I will get back to you right after 10 or 11, whatever you want to say. But I just want you to know that that's kind of my routine, and that's in order to service you at the highest level, right? Set that expectation up front. Now they know that you're doing that. And by the way, you doing that actually serves them. And if you're on a team or you have a staff, right? We also say, hey, if you need me, if there's any emergencies or anything that comes up, it's no problem at all. I have staff that can help. And so I'll either forward your request to them or you can call them directly. It's not an issue. Everything will be watched. It'll be taken care of. All right. Lead nurture and appointment setting. So essentially what this means is you want certain time where you're prospecting for new business, right? You're trying to set new appointments and then you want to do your follow-up. So after that, you're kind of touching base with a few people. Maybe these are people you're out showing homes to, and you're setting some future appointments or whatever. But part of your day needs to be setting new appointments. And we're going to talk about how and lead gen and all of that. But at the end of the day, no matter how you get leads, I don't care if you are a social media lead person, an open house person, however you get your business needs follow-up. You need to prospect, you need to talk to those people, or you're going to lose a lot of sales. And then your appointments are in the afternoon. I used to have a bad habit when I was on my own and I would tell people 10 o'clock. Yeah, sure, let's look at property at 10 o'clock, right? I had to change that to 1 o'clock. Now I don't schedule appointments until 1 o'clock. It is my go-to if I need to do something. How about 1 o'clock on Tuesday? And I don't even have to look at my calendar because I already know that between 1 and 4 or 5, that's my appointment time. I can schedule appointments during that time. So here's our example calendar. This is we call it our admin calendar. I just grabbed a week here. But you can see, so we do a team huddle. We do role play on Monday and Tuesday. And then we have prospecting time blocked out. So from 9:30 to 11:30, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesdays, our regular team is prospecting in the morning, but our new agents that go through our 30-day boot camp are at a training. But essentially, you prospect in the morning for 2 hours, and then your afternoons are empty because that's appointment time. So it's very simple. It's boring. It's the same thing every single day. Now, if you have a really busy week, I always encourage people to start earlier. So let's say you're going to be out on showings all day on Thursday. Maybe you call from 8 to 9 or 8 to 9:30. You want to try to at least get an hour a day. The problem is when you do 2 hours on Monday and then you skip Tuesday and Wednesday and then you're playing catch up on Thursday and Friday, you're always going to feel out of place. You're going to miss follow-ups. People that, you talked to Monday that you said you'd touch base with in a day or two, and then now you haven't prospected, so you missed them, and now you can't get them back on the phone. So the consistency wins. And what are you looking for during your time block schedule? You're looking for at least 20 conversations a day. I'm going to share with you guys a tracker that we have at the end of this. You're searching for 3 to 5 appointments a week. So on our team, our agents look for 2 to 3 held appointments every week. So you might have to set 5 or 6 because we're going to have people reschedule. We're going to have people no show. It just is part of the process. But you're looking to have set 3 to 5, hold 2 or 3. Of the 2 or 3 people that you meet with, new customers every week, at least 2 or 3 of those should result in closings. And that's how you then get yourself into a groove of having 2 to 3 closings a month, or taking listings if you're focused on listings. But again, you have to treat this like a 9 to 5 job. Be disciplined. Show up. When your calendar says that you're prospecting at 9, show up at 9. Really, I'm a big fan of 8. I think when you start your calendar, when you start your day at 8 o'clock or 8:30, you get a lot more people on the phone because they're not at work yet, or they're not busy with the rest of their day yet. So if you can swing that, that's, I think, is best. All right, number 3, generate business using 3 lead pillars. The reason most people don't do things is for 2 reasons, which is fear and overwhelm. So fear, back to that mindset. What if it doesn't work? What if they reject me? What if I'm not good enough? What if all that? And then overwhelm is the other one that we don't talk too much about, which is basically you have so many things to do that you do nothing, right? A confused mind does nothing. So you have to keep it simple. I think this is probably one of the biggest thing most people out there on their own do, is they watch all these webinars, they go to all these YouTube channels, they listen to their broker, they listen to another agent in the office, and they get all these amazing, valuable things to do, and they go try and do all of them, and therefore they do nothing. So it's super important that you narrow it down. Choose 3. And here's some options for you. So SOI and past clients, right? You should have that in your database. For us, those are contacted quarterly. We also do client events. We have a Facebook page for our customers. So that's what we do on our team. Online leads, these are great. You can do Zillow, Realtor.com, Ylopo, PPC. Speed to lead is very important with these. You have to get to them immediately. I tell my team this all the time. I remember pulling over on the side of the road because I took a Zillow call and I'm writing on my dashboard. Like, that's how you have to operate with those leads. They're very expensive. And so if you're going to be investing in them, which you should, take them seriously, right? So many people buy all these leads and they never call them. So super important. But online leads are a really good one if you know how to work them. Open houses, 2 per weekend with strong follow-up. So we really train on how to convert at an open house, right? Open houses, you shouldn't just be sitting there and touring people through the home. You're trying to set appointments from open houses. And then how is your follow-up? So open houses, expired FSBOs, they're great. You have to have the mindset and the stamina for them, but an incredible way to get listings. We do some of this on our team and train for some of this. Farming, mailers, community events, door knocking, very good. Again, if you do it right and you're focused on it. Mailers, you have to touch someone at least 8 times in a short period of time for them to even recognize who you are. And mailers, you're looking at a 12-month investment minimum before you see results. That combined with community events, combined with door knocking, can be a very effective strategy. And social media and video marketing, 5 to 7 posts per week. So you're going to want to choose 3 of these. Where are the 3 things that you're really going to focus on? Don't try to do everything. You'll end up doing nothing, right? So choose 3 strong ones. We have a very high focus on open houses, online leads, and our past clients, and expireds and FSBOs is what we primarily do on our team. Our agents, select all of not everybody does expires and FSBOs. So mainly those first 3 are going to be what we do on our team. That's a great option. If you do those 3 consistently, you will get business from it. All right. I think this is number 4. Yes, number 4. Work a CRM and follow up relentlessly. 80% of your deals come from follow-up. Most realtors don't have a problem with contacting new leads. They have a problem with follow-up. The agent who follows up is usually the one who's going to win the business. So new leads, 5 minutes, that's even a long time. Like speed to lead. Get that lead. The minute it comes in, call it. And call it multiple times. On average, they require 24 touches before they respond sometimes. That's the statistic from Zillow. So when you call one time, they don't answer and you give up, you're burning money, burning your money. So call multiple times, 3 or 4 times that day, call a couple times the next day. You just need to get them on the phone so you have the opportunity to have a conversation and learn about that need. Follow up every 2 days for hot, weekly for warm, monthly, long-term nurture. So I did a webinar not too long ago on CRM where I went more into detail on this, but each lead in your database should have a cadence. Once you invest in a CRM, you'll see we have Follow Up Boss where we can stage our leads. So for us, A, B, C, and then we have a blazing hot list. And all that does is it helps you stay organized. You're in sales. You have a pipeline. Not everybody's ready to buy today, right? And again, what a big fault of realtors is they work with the customers that are right in front of them and they forget about everybody else. And so you spend 30 or 45 days running around with somebody trying to get them under contract. You spend another 30 days managing that transaction. It closes. And now you look up and go, where's my business coming from? So it's super important that if you're following your calendar, you're prospecting in the mornings while you're working with those customers, then your database will stay full. And when one person goes under contract or a few of them, you'll have more that are in your database that are ready, that continue to come up and be ready to transact. Use scripts. Some people feel like scripts sound robotic. That's just because you haven't practiced them enough. Don't let that objection get in your head. Scripts work. At minimum, memorize the script until it feels super comfortable. And then if you want to change it after, you can, but use it the way it's written first. Don't change something before you've even tested if it works. Learn the script, memorize the script. I'm a big fan of Tina Call. She's one of my mentors. She's amazing. She is a Mike Ferry. She learned a lot from Mike Ferry. Mike Ferry agents, big listing agents, expired. They memorize not only the script on the phone, but the entire listing presentation. Bill Pipes, I think, was also trained by Mike Ferry. I went to something from his once. I mean, he recited the entire listing presentation. So when you are that good and you know it that well, you're not going to fall. You're not going to stumble. You're going to sound confident. You're going to be able to pivot when you need to pivot because you're not worried about getting back on track and knowing what to say. So memorize your scripts and then automate where you can. But I will say, I coach with one of the biggest real estate team coaches in the world right now. And one of his biggest messages right now is don't over automate. Speak to your database, speak to your customers, right? If you guys are on my emails, I write all those emails. I don't chat GPT them. Those come from me. They come from my brain. They're my thoughts. It's much more appealing to read that than something ChatGPT threw out. So just be mindful of that. Talk to your people. Oh, I wanted to share a quick story about follow-up. Ryan Serhant, many of you know, $1 Million Listing New York. He's got his own show now. I saw him speak once and he talks about this guy that he followed up with for 5 years. He showed him some rentals. I think he decided not to rent. And then 5 years, the guy never answered the phone. He didn't respond to emails, but Ryan just kept following up with him. He was in his CRM. He was part of his cadence. And 5 years later, the guy finally responded and said, I'm ready to do something. Ended up being one of the biggest sales of his career. Some record-breaking $40-50 million sale in Manhattan. So he is huge supporter of follow up. I'm telling you, the people who do this at the highest level, this is all they do. It's simple. It's just most people won't do it. All right. 80% of deals. I talked a little bit about this already. Most agents fail at new leads. They don't fail at new leads. They fail at follow-up. Here's a few more tips for you. Never leave an appointment without a next appointment. So when you're following up, hey, Sally, sounds good. I know you want to think about that offer. Why don't I give you a call tomorrow at 2:00 and we'll reconvene? Does that sound good? Right? Or if you're leaving a showing, never leave without an appointment. Right? If you're doing a buyer consultation, great. Why don't we schedule some showings for Saturday? Oh, but Claire, they're not pre-approved and they need to get pre-approved. Okay, great. Use that to build urgency to get them to your appointment on Saturday. So, hey, Sally, I know we got to get pre-approved. It's Tuesday. I'm going to get you in contact with my lender. Hopefully you're going to do a warm introduction there. Assuming that I have a thumbs up by about Thursday, that's going to give me time on Friday to set those appointments, and then we can get out on Saturday. Do you feel like you can go ahead and get everything the lender needs by Thursday so that we can have that appointment on Saturday, right? So use it to your advantage. Now on Thursday, if things are a mess and they're not pre-approved, then just cancel the Saturday. No big deal. But by giving them a deadline, people will tend to respond and move more quickly. Okay. So never leave the appointment without an appointment. Your follow-up should always have value. Please don't call and say, hey, I'm just checking in, right? Bring them value. Hey, Sally, I wanted to touch base like I said I would. The next one is set the expectation that you will follow up. So when I'm talking to people, it's, hey, I understand you're about 6-8 months out. I also know that people's lives change all the time and things can change overnight. And so to ensure that I stay, that we keep in touch and I stay on top of this, I'm going to touch base with you every couple of weeks. It's no trouble at all. I do this with everybody that I work with. I find that it works very, very well. And that way, I'll be there as a resource for you. I'm also going to kind of be keeping an eye out for you should I find any killer deals or anything off market that you might really like. So when I call you, I'll also have those ready for you as well. Does that sound good? So I'm building value into that follow-up call and I'm setting the expectation that I'm going to follow up. Okay. So always have value. Maybe your value is you're talking about the market. Hey, Sally, I know that you're not looking to buy for a little bit, but the market has really changed. And our lender came in this week and said that rates are really on the downward trend. And so I just wanted to bring you that information, make sure you're up to date, just in case anything had changed in your circumstances, right? Value. When people tell you their time frame, cut it in half. They're buying in a year. It's going to be 6 months. You must be working in a CRM. If you are not working in a CRM, like I said, I used to use my whiteboard and then I'd put all my contacts in MLS. I could have done double, triple, quadruple the sales that I did if I had a proper CRM. All right, number 5, track results. Track your metrics. What gets measured gets managed. If you are just kind of doing things every day, doing what you feel like doing, posting a few posts, calling a few people, there's no real rhyme or reason, you're not measuring anything, you're not going to achieve that 6-figure life. So set weekly and monthly targets. On our team, we have a weekly conversation goal. It's 18 or more. I don't care how many calls you do, you need to talk to at least 18 people every week and have 2-minute conversations or more, right? If you don't have a CRM where you're tracking, then do contacts. How many people do you talk to? But it's going to have to be more, because if you talk to somebody for 30 seconds, that's not really a real estate conversation, right? So track how many calls, contacts, conversations, how many appointments. I said this already earlier. We track appointments and we are specific with appointments with new people, taking people out and showing them 14 different properties on 5 different days. That's not an appointment. That's a repeat showing appointment, but you're looking for 2 new appointments, 2 or 3 every single week. My top listing agent goes on 3 appointments a week. It's a non-negotiable for her. So what's working, do more of it. What's not, tweak your strategy. Tweak, but stay consistent. Don't, so many people, shiny object syndrome. You want to try this and you want to try that and you want to change this and you do it for a week and it doesn't work and it's not producing the results. So you change it. Well, if you don't do anything consistently for a 90-day period, you will not truly know if it worked or it didn't work, right? So anytime one of my agents challenges the plan, I ask them, have you executed 100% on what you chose to do or commit to for a 90-day period? 100% of the time, the answer is no, right? If they're not seeing the success they want. And we have a CRM where we can look in the database and it is very clear. It's very obvious. Play the long game. Real estate success is a marathon, not a sprint. 90 days of consistent activities will build your pipeline. So yeah, if you're not tracking your daily calls, you won't know if you're hitting your lead gen goals. If you're not tracking your appointments versus your closed deals, you won't know where deals are falling through. And if you're not tracking your income and expenses, you're not going to be running a profitable business. You guys are running a business. If you're not looking at it that way, then you're an employee of your own business, right? You're entrepreneurs. You have a business. You have to manage all parts of it. Good example here. Actually, I think our next slide. Yeah, this one. Every issue is either activity or skills. We recently did a big quarterly, we call it our go to the board. Our agents go up, they look at their annual goal, they look at where they're at quarter to date, prorate that for the year. Are we on track or are we not on track? One of my agents felt like she was doing all the activities, and sometimes they are. And so what we did was we broke it down. We looked at how many appointments did she have over the last 90 days? How many of those appointments actually happened? So how many were there that rescheduled, that no-showed, whatever. Then from there, how many went out to see homes, how many made offers, and how many went under contract? What we found that was really neat is once she got somebody out to see homes or made an offer, it always went under contract. She's a very good negotiator. But there was a gap. The no-shows, she wasn't counting those in her appointment numbers. So she was counting appointments set, not appointment met, right? And so she wasn't actually meeting 2 or 3 new people every month or every week, I'm sorry. She was setting those appointments. And so just by changing that one factor, it's going to increase her appointments and it's going to double her close rate, right? Because she simply needs to meet with more people. And sometimes we can get into that place where it's like, well, I feel like I'm doing all the activities. But when you're able to break it down that way, it becomes very obvious. I had another agent that we did this with, and we discovered that she had a very high no-show rate. So she was setting these appointments, but the people are not showing up or rescheduling or whatever. So what do we need to work on? We need to improve the skill of building value around the appointment to make sure that someone shows up. If they don't see the value in showing up to your appointment, it's not going to be important enough to them. They're going to cancel you, right? So we work on that. Where somebody else, like my first agent, who was doing everything properly, we couldn't really find any gaping holes. Her no-show rate was pretty low. Then it's just more activities, which meant for her, it meant more appointments. So track. Here's our tracker. I'm actually going to show you guys a QR code at the end here where you can have this. If you don't have a good CRM where you're tracking everything, or you don't have it super organized or whatever it is, then just do pen to paper. Print this out. It's for every week. The 1 through 25 are your contacts. 25 contacts a day. Talk to 25 people every single day about real estate, right? That can be at an open house. That can be in person. That can be at the grocery store. A lot of it should be in your phone calls, though, and follow up. Pick up the phone. Call those people that you've talked to. Don't be afraid. Don't let that mindset and fear and overwhelm get in your way. Just do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go read that book, The 5-Second Rule. Week 2, this also tracks number of calls, number of connects, number of social media posts if you're doing that, number of follow-ups, number of appointments, number of showings, number of pending, and number of closed. So you can fill this out every single day. This is what I mean when I say treat it like a business and treat it like a full-time job. If you start every day with your prospecting, you get your contact sheet out and you complete these, and you do this every single day, you will with 100% certainty grow your business to that 6-figure life. So again, I'm going to have, where's my QR? It's at the end. So recap, the 5-step blueprint to a 6-figure life. Master your mindset and your goals. If you are somebody that is consistently having this get in your way, get a coach. You need a coach. Coaching is worth every penny of the investment if you find the right coach. Okay. You need somebody to help you stay on track. It is way too easy for you to convince yourself out of doing what you should be doing or get in your head about it, right? We are trained as humans to move towards pleasure and move away from pain. Well, some of the things we do in our industry, like prospecting, is painful, right? So your mind is going to do everything it can to get you away from that. Okay. So get a coach, get a team, right? We have an amazing team here. We have so many successful agents. We would love the opportunity to share with you what we do. Build a time blocked schedule and follow it religiously. Okay. Do not waver on your calendar. This is one of the most difficult things that our agents continue to work on. We train on it regularly. It's not something where you do your calendar one day and it just sticks. It takes time. Number 3, generate. Pick 3 ways that you're going to generate business and stick to it consistently. Number 4, work a CRM and follow up relentlessly. Number 5, be consistent and track and measure your results. So I want to share a story here of Alexis on the right there. On the left, these are my agents, a couple of my agents who all did over $1 million in sales in January of this year. But Alexis was somebody that really struggled with that mindset, right? And she was somebody that on the outside was doing all the things. She had a great attitude, super coachable, but she was having mindset issues that she wasn't really telling us about. And then when we did the accountability group, that kind of came out, and then she started reading the books, and now she's about to close on $1 million property. She has multiple other buyers in her database, and she is just thriving. But for her, she's very professional. She had the skill, she was doing the things, but she was just letting her mind get in the way. And so that one shift made all the difference for her, and now she is sky's the limit. So again, I can't stress how important it is. All right, take action. This QR code will get you that sheet that I showed you, that contact sheet. So if you want to use it, print it, use it, please. It will be super helpful for you. Use that every single week. Shoot me an email or a message if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. This will be recorded. I'll send it out. So if you didn't take it, or you had some notes, or you want to look back, you certainly can. I will leave this open for just a minute for any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your time and attention. I know there are so many things out there that you could be doing and watching, and I appreciate you very much for showing up today. And I hope that you take at least one thing today and go take action. Thanks, guys.